Welcome back to IELTS Academic Reading Strategies, and today we will focus on matching headings task type. Matching headings task type is the task that basically tests your skills of understanding main ideas of passages. And as you remember, when we have discussed the skills tested as well as task types that exist, this is a very important skill that you will utilize all across the reading section, because to access micro skill and to work with understanding text structure skills, you will always have to start with with the macro skill of understanding the main ideas of passages. Let's begin with reviewing the question format. On the test, matching headings type of tasks look as follows. You can see it on the screen. And as we will be working with the content, I have chosen the passage. The passage is the physics of traffic behavior, which is an example of former IELTS academic reading task. And you can see the text attached to this lesson. So you may print it or open it in another screen and work along with me as we review the content and strategies for matching headings. So in this kind of tasks, you are presented with a list of headings that you can see on the left, and then the task identifies for which of the sections you have to find appropriate headings. So in this example, we have to find appropriate heading for section A, which is the first paragraph, for section C, D, and E. In general, list of headings are, and headings in general, those are main topics of related paragraphs. So, to be able to quickly deal with matching headings, we do not read the whole text, we don't have time for that. Instead, we need to learn how to skim passages for main ideas. And that skill requires the ability to recognize and understand topic sentences. So this is exactly what we will focus on in this lesson. To be able to skim passages for main ideas and understand topic sentences, we first need to familiarize or review the typical structure of academic passages. So in general, reading passages begin with the introductory paragraph. Then we have the main body that develops in details the topic introduced in the introduction, and we have several paragraphs within the main body, and then there is always a conclusion that sums up what has been covered in the main body. Now let's talk about the purpose of each of the paragraphs. In the introduction, the introduction starts with introducing the overall topic, and then provides the focus. What are we interested within that topic? And then it culminates with a thesis statement, which pinpoints the controlling idea. What about this topic within this focus are we going to discuss? And also it specifies the purpose of the passage. Then moving on to the main body, we have a typical main body paragraph, which usually starts with the topic sentence. The topic sentence is the sentence that specifies what I will be talking about in this specific paragraph. Everything else that comes after usually supports that topic sentence and provides additional examples, details, explanations, and so on and so forth, depending on the structure of the topic sentence. So topic sentence plays a very important function. It expresses the main idea of the paragraph, and it suggests the paragraph's content, usually based on the topic sentence. I can very well predict the details that will be provided, and also topic sentence defines the organizational structure of supporting sentence. The rest of the main body paragraphs are structured very similarly, and they would usually begin with the topic sentence and then provide additional details that elaborate on that topic sentence. So from here you can see that main ideas of passages are mainly concentrated in the thesis, which is the topic sentence for the whole passage, and usually is usually is a part of the introduction. And then main body paragraphs are usually begin with the topic sentences, and hence to understand main ideas you don't really have to read all the passage. You need to focus on and find topic sentences. So conclusion is a little bit different, because conclusion sometimes sums up and covers all the main points that have been discussed. Conclusion sometimes may give a new idea towards the end. So as is with the introduction, I would read conclusion more carefully to see which sentence is important and which carries more weight. So now the question is how to actually recognize topic sentences and make sure that this is indeed the sentence that contains the main idea. So let's move on and look at some of the important characteristics of the topic sentence. So as we have discussed already, the position of the topic sentence within the paragraph is very important. So we have seen that there is an introductory paragraph that usually starts from a broader topic, then moves on to focus the topic, and then even the thesis provides even more focus and purpose about the passage. However, as I have said, IELTS passages, if you see the first paragraph, it doesn't mean that it is necessarily introduction. Sometimes passages are constructed in a way where you are presented with the main body at the very beginning, and therefore you should be very careful working with that first paragraph and read it from the very beginning and maybe until the end to make sure that you find that very sentence that gives the main focus of the passage. Then the main body, usually the topic sentence is located at the beginning, and sometimes it's not necessarily the first sentence. Sometimes you would have to read deeper into the paragraph, because in certain cases it's difficult to express the main idea from the very first sentence, and hence the first 2 or 3 sentences may carry the logical connection that will lead you to the main idea. So in terms of the content, topic sentences, they are not too general and not too specific. So if the sentence begins with facts and details, it is unlikely to be the topic sentence because it would be too specific. If it's too general, that globalization has existed for over 3 decades, again, this is very general, and it is unlikely that it will be the topic sentence, which means that you would have to read further to find the focus within that topic. Topic sentences also suggest the content and organization of the paragraph. We will not cover this content within this specific lesson. There is an extra video class on understanding topic sentences, which now that we know where the main ideas of the passage are located, we may very well practice with the given text and see how we can apply this knowledge to quickly find the right answers to the questions. Here is our list of headings, and we're gonna be working with the first section, which is an introduction. We need to work with section C, which it looks like a part of a main body, and then D and E, which also are could be D is a part of the main body, and E could be the conclusion, or it could be one of the main body paragraphs. So let's start with the first paragraph. You can pause the video now and spend some time reading this paragraph. And remember that if it's an introduction, it is likely to start with a broader topic and then focus the topic towards the end. So by reading the paragraph from the first sentence, the topic is identified how how theoretical physicists apply their knowledge in the sphere of traffic flow. This is a bit too general, so which means that probably as we read further, the paragraph will focus the content more. So as I read the next sentence, I learned that this theoretical physicist applied the equations that describe how the molecules of a gas move to explain traffic behavior. So this is a bit more focused. We're moving on from theoretical physics to traffic flow to specifically what they have, how they have used their knowledge in the field to in application to the traffic flow. And then so this sentence looks like the thesis statement, as it provides a very specific focus. Moving gas model equation has been applied to describe the real world traffic. Okay, now I go back to the list of headings and I try to review which one is more appropriate. So now it becomes very easy because the thesis statement or the topic sentence is a restatement or a paraphrase of, or should be a paraphrase of one of the headings, and we can see that the third option, how a concept from one field of study was applied in another, is the best paraphrase for that. And we are moving on to paragraph C. And again, we remember that when we work with main body paragraphs, the topic sentence is usually located at the very beginning, and everything that follows develops on a more detailed level ideas represented in this sentence. So why don't you pause this video and go ahead and read this, the beginning of the paragraph, find the topic sentence, try to understand what is the main idea of that sentence, and then read further to double check that your predictions are correct. Okay, so let's do it together now. I start reading with the first sentence. The physicists have challenged proposals to set a maximum capacity for vehicles on highways. So this looks like a fairly general statement. Remember that topic sentences, they are not too general and not too specific. So from this sentence, it's quite hard to predict what exactly this paragraph will be about. So I'm going to read one more sentence to see if it provides a better focus for the paragraph. They argue that it might not be enough simply to limit the rate at which vehicles are allowed to enter a highway. Rather, so here comes the idea that the physicists have proposed it may be necessary to time each vehicle's entry onto a highway precisely to coincide with a temporary drop in the density of vehicles. So this is the second sentence looks like a topic sentence for this paragraph, and it specifies the proposal that the physicists have used to challenge what has been used by traffic specialists. And again, by looking at examples, I can see that one of the better titles would be a proposal to take control away from the driver. And the final paragraph, which was E, and again, we were not sure whether it's a conclusion and how to read this paragraph, or whether it is a part of the main body paragraph. So I would start reading with the very beginning. James Banks suggested that a sudden slowdown, so this here is the most important part of the sentence, that a sudden slowdown in traffic may have less to do with chaos theory than with the driver psychology. And again, I go back to the list of headings and I quickly find that the impact of driver behavior, so driver psychology and driver behavior, are synonyms in that case. on traffic speed, right? So this is it. We have found headings for each of the identified sections. We have not read the whole text. We only worked with the topic sentences. Here is the strategy that we have just applied. So first, read for the topic sentence. And finally, scan all the headings to find the heading that paraphrases the paragraph's main idea. It should be the best paraphrase. So now that you know the strategy and how it works, I suggest you to do more practice. So first, in the following task, you can see the matching headings practice set 1, which has 28 questions. So you have to identify or match 28 paragraphs to appropriate headings. Just that if you get fewer than 24 answers correctly, you should probably focus on developing complementary skills that are necessary to do matching headings successfully. You have seen that understanding topic sentences or recognizing topic sentences, especially if you haven't had previous experience within this field, it may be difficult and it may require some additional knowledge and training or develop skills in understanding sentences. And then you can go back and do another practice set and see how well you have improved your skills. So this was the lesson on matching headings. Good luck, and I will see you next time, where we will discuss the next task types and appropriate strategies.